And you, knowing how black and white the internet is, you decided, you fucking rat, to leak the reported reason Twitch banned me in 2020. Well, I mean, for what?
So, Dr. Disrespect has finally responded to all the chaos surrounding his mysterious Twitch ban. And let me tell you, this situation just got way crazier. If you're not up to speed with what's been happening, don't worry. I'll explain it all, from the beginning to where we're at now.
Nice, strong community. For years. This is where we started. 16 years ago? 2008, I think. You know? I like my time here. And I like the community. We've got the best, realest gaming community.
Dr. Disrespect, one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, was suddenly and very mysteriously banned from the platform in 2020. No one knew why, and Twitch didn't say anything either. It was just a massive, unexplained ban, and fans were left scratching their heads. The speculation was all over the place. People were throwing out wild theories, but nothing was confirmed. The whole thing became this dark cloud hanging over Dr. Disrespect's head for years. Then, around 2.5 months ago, an ex-Twitch employee named Cody Connor decided to stir the pot. He tweeted that Dr. Disrespect had been banned for sea-otting a minor. Yeah, you heard that right. The tweet immediately went viral, as expected, because people had been hungry for answers about the ban for so long. Now, of course, this kind of accusation is massive. We're talking career-ending, life-ruining stuff. So naturally, it blew up all over the internet.
Get through this, okay? And,
Hey, Christopher.
fuck.
Not only did he get demonetized on YouTube, but he also lost deals with gaming studios, and a lot of his friends distanced themselves from him.
Now that you're not getting monetized, you're not going to be streaming ever again, or you're on YouTube, are you?
There's an opportunity to reapply, right?
The internet labeled him as a predator, and honestly, it looked like his career was over.
Was talking inappropriately with a minor. Where I truly believe this scumbag needs to be banned off of the platforms that he's on.
I don't know who's really going to support him at this point. Like, what kind of person is going to watch Dr. Disrespect? If you watch him at this point, you just have to be coping, baby.
After the accusations, Dr. Disrespect took a break from streaming. For 2.5 months, he was pretty quiet, only posting an occasional tweet here and there. But every time he did, he was met with a ton of hate.
Situation where a person that I was working with consistently on both game development and my career as a streamer at the same time, we had collaborated multiple times. Suddenly it turns out that years ago he tried to message a minor to solicit them for sex, and it got caught, and that's why it didn't happen. You expect me to not turn my back? Bro, y'all, there's no way you do not have fucking brain damage.
The guy was practically exiled from the gaming community, and no one expected him to come back.
The reality is, they wanted to cut down the dock, plain and simple. Take a look at some of these horrendous acts of Twitch streamers that were never banned. I've got some examples right here. Example number 1, a streamer that frequently used the N-word while publicly streaming, which constitutes a violation of Twitch's policies if accompanied by hate.
Fast forward to today, and boom, Doc finally broke his silence. He went live on stream and addressed everything that had been said about him. And man, it was intense. He kicked things off by explaining why he never talked about his Twitch ban publicly before. Apparently, there was a lawsuit pending, and as part of the legal agreement, he wasn't allowed to speak on the matter. Classic legal stuff, right?
And as part of that arbitration, all parties were not allowed to speak publicly about the case. I respected those rules. My lawsuit against Twitch was eventually resolved, as you all know. But even then, as part of the settlement, all parties were still prohibited from speaking publicly about the case or the settlement.
Even after the lawsuit was settled, he was still prohibited from discussing the details. Dr. Disrespect revealed that Cody Connor, the guy who leaked the info about him sexting a minor, wasn't even working at Twitch when he tweeted that.
When you and all these so-called journalists, Cody, fired off your tweets, did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages? Cody, why do this? What was the point?
So why did Cody decide to spill the tea after all this time? According to Doc, it was all for clout. Cody wanted some attention and figured using Dr. Disrespect's name would get him some. And to be fair, it did. The tweet blew up, but at what cost?
Of accusing me, Cody Connors? You see, you don't know shit, and it was obvious from your tweet. You didn't have any first-hand knowledge of my dispute with Twitch. You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was s***ing a minor through whispers.
Doc denies that he ever sexted anyone. He claims that while he did use Twitch's whisper feature to message someone, it wasn't sexting and it wasn't with a minor. He even goes so far as to question whether the person was actually a minor, hinting that they might have been of legal age at the time.
I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, edited, etc., just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it. And boy, oh boy, did they ever, champs.
Now this is where things get a bit murky, because in his original statement, Doc himself used the word minor, so it's a bit confusing when he now says the person might not have been underage, but hey, it's possible he's trying to clear up some of the details that were misrepresented.
Fired off your tweets? Did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages? You didn't.
One of the biggest bombshells from Dr. Disrespect's stream was his claim that Twitch never actually investigated the age of the person he was messaging. He says that Twitch made the decision to ban him without interviewing him, the person involved, or any third parties. That's huge if it's true. According to Doc, Twitch's trust and safety team just pulled the trigger without really digging into the situation. He's pissed, and honestly, you can kind of see why.
The same employees that decided to ban me internally admitted that the whisper messages were not sexting. And two, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally acknowledged that the whispers did not constitute child sexual abuse material CSAM.
He also mentioned something else that caught my attention. Apparently Twitch's trust and safety team admitted that the messages in question weren't sexual. So, if that's the case, why was he banned? But here's the thing. While Dr. Disrespect is denying the sexual nature of the messages, there's still a lingering question. Why hasn't he released the chat logs?
I get that, but at the end of the day, you messaged a minor and it was inappropriate. For me, this is not about legality. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, man. I don't want to talk too much shit about this guy. I give it as good as I get it. A lot of people were coming at me yesterday on Twitter, so I called him a bad word. But I want to be honest, man, him doing what he did, I think he was being that.
If the logs would clear his name, you'd think he'd want to put them out there as soon as possible. The fact that he hasn't makes people suspicious.
People want
Show the message! Release the messages! Show the messages!
What are we in second grade?
Doc insists that the messages were harmless, but without seeing them, it's hard to say for sure. Maybe they weren't illegal, but they could still have been inappropriate, and that's enough to ruin a reputation.
All I know is that I never did what Twitch, Cody Connors, or the public is claiming that I did. That's it.
The whole situation is messy, and it's clear that there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Dr. Disrespect has made it clear that he wants to move on, but until those chat logs are released, this cloud of suspicion will probably keep hanging over him. And that's the tricky part. The internet is black and white. People either think you're guilty or innocent, and there's rarely any room for grey areas. But hey, that's just my take. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.